Hello, baby.
That's the wrong song.
Leave it in for your organic opening.
I'm so used to doing Brink now. All right, here we go.
We are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Rocking in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 499. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
Holy shit! Is that what number we're really up to? Are you making that up?
We are really there. Yeah.
Okay. So now we're at a number of episodes where like the Knicks will never pass this as a winning percentage.
Ever. Again.
Ever. So I got breaking news for you, Jay. Do you want breaking news to start the show?
Sure.
Okay. Are you sitting down?
I am sitting down.
Are you at home? Have you not left your house in like a week or two?
That
or
is
a month
correct.
or two?
That is correct, yeah.
I got breaking news for you.
Okay.
Are you excited to hear the breaking news?
Very. Hit me.
Currently, it's about your boy LeBron James. You want to hear it?
Now I'm less interested, but go on.
He is currently on the phone negotiating with ESPN to put together a 10-part document. An 11-part documentary called The Last King.
I hope you're joking.
Yeah, no, he's doing it. It's called The Last King, and he says like there's enough footage. We have enough game footage for my last season in Cleveland. We're gonna go through the whole everything. It's gonna focus on me, LeBron James, and if you think the Jordan special was good, this will be even better. And Twitter is going to explode with The Last Dance versus The Last King. Which is the better documentary? Let's do this.
I can't tell if you're joking or not.
What are you talking about, Jay? Anyway, LeBron James, they think they have enough footage. It's going to be his last season in Cleveland. Not the season they won the title, but his last season in Cleveland. And it's going to be just a glorious amount of LeBron James. They're going to cover him. Each episode also is going to be 2 hours long because it's twice as good as the Jordan special.
They are doing one on the Clippers.
Are you like topping my joke?
No, this is real.
Okay, what is this?
Do you remember when they didn't like the owner and they said they might not play, but then they played?
Yeah, the guy who said like some vaguely racist stuff.
Yeah, they're doing one on that.
Okay, a documentary.
It's like The Last Dance, a 10-part miniseries.
All right, now I think you're kidding.
There's been commercials for it during The Last Dance.
I fast forward through the commercials. Is this for real?
Yeah.
I don't watch the commercials. Who watches commercials right now?
You remember that pretty insignificant moment that everyone forgot about 10 minutes later?
Are they just doing a top 10 of like the least significant moments in basketball history?
I mean, I'm not watching that one.
You know you're gonna be like, I guess so. I mean, like, let's see what Blake Griffin has to say. That'll be how are you liking The Last Dance? I guess it's over now. I'm in the middle of the 9th episode. I'm sorry I've not caught up for the show, but I think I know how it works out. What do you think?
I'm in the middle of the final episode. So I think the 8th episode was the one that was more Knicks centric.
Are you gonna quiz me, Jay? You know what's interesting? He said that his toughest opponent was the Pacers, and I was like, what about the goddamn Knicks?
Yeah, the Knicks took them to 7.
Yeah, the Knicks were battling them all through the 90s, and he's like, the Pacers were the team I was really concerned about. So I was like, God damn it, Jordan.
Although, watching the second to last episode, I realized that team was stacked. That Pacers team.
Yeah, no, they had a really good team.
They were like 9 or 10 deep.
Miller legitimately thought he could beat the Bulls.
I mean, it went to 7 games, and the 7th game wasn't a blowout.
Well, now you're ruining it for me, Jay. I mean, now you're by spoiling it by just telling me things that happened in the rest of the episode. No, they had a really good team. I mean, when Miller and when Jordan they went Jordan pushed, or I guess Miller hit him and then Jordan went after him.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool. I mean, I would have liked to have seen Indiana take out Chicago there.
Really, after what Indiana did to New York, you were.
I just wanted to see Jordan lose. I don't know. I mean, you always want to see in some ways I want to see him lose. I also hated. I don't like Indiana, but if I've been watching both of them play each other, I'm like, Jordan just tortured the Knicks for the whole decade. I don't know. I hate them all. There are 29 teams I hate. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, and right now, every team in the NBA, if it was the current season, they all torture the Knicks. They're just 29 teams. If the Knicks should find another league to play in right now, where they can just win some games and make us. So anyway, since the last show, Frank Ntilikina had not turned the ball over once. So, Jay, you owe us an apology.
He is one of the greatest Knicks of all time.
So could we do documentaries based on things that we found interesting throughout the years? Like maybe they should do a 10-part documentary on the Lance Thomas apology episode from you. Remember when he had that one run? You were I tried to make you apologize about Lance Thomas.
Yeah. I should have then turned it around and made you apologize for asking me to apologize about Lance Thomas.
That would be the next documentary. What other documentaries could we force on the world for the Knicks?
You trying to get the pipe by J.R. Smith?
Yes. Anyone who says Linsanity, that's a real moment that's a real highlight. I want to do things that are not real highlights. A whole 10-part documentary about the fire hydrant or fire thing that Amari punched.
10-part documentary on the Bargnani dunk where he broke his elbow.
10-part documentary on the Knicks trying to defend that trade.
I mean, they could do a 10-part documentary on all their bad trades.
A 10-part documentary, which each episode of the documentary is a different draft pick the Knicks traded away.
I mean, you could really do one on each trade or a draft pick.
There's so much content there of just brutal content. There's so much of a 10-part documentary on why you fire a GM after you've traded for Bargnani right before the season starts, or why you fire your GM or you fire your team president right after the draft,
or why you sign somebody and then 6 weeks later use your one-time only amnesty on the same player.
A 10-part documentary of how the Knicks have killed so many careers. You've got 9 titles. Why don't you come run our team and run your reputation into the ground, Phil?
There's so many good Knicks documentaries you can make, really.
A 10-part documentary picking an obscure player no one's ever heard of that Knicks fans hold dearly.
So you know those memes that people make, and it's you have $15 and who would you take? And there's rows, and there's the $5 row, the $4 row.
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean $15 meme?
It's so it would say you have $15 to make the best lineup, and
okay, you're doing a fancy draft type thing.
It would be a picture, and it'll be a grid, and the top row would have 4 players. It'll be $5 per player, and the second row would have $4 per player. The third row would have $3 per player. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They do it for everything. They do it for superheroes and whatever. So I saw one for the
I've
Knicks.
literally never seen this, by the way, but go on.
I literally sent one to you this week. And you responded and commented on it. So
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Liar. Scroll through our Facebook chat. You actually responded to it too.
Okay, well, you're gonna come over, break quarantine, and come over to my house and show me.
So, yeah. So the top row was Frazier, Ewing. That's the $5 row. Obviously you only have 15, so you got to choose your team wisely. So
should we do this on the show?
Sure, pull up the chat.
Okay, let's go on, Jay.
So, okay, I'll see if I can find it real quick. But
yeah.
The crazy thing is, guess who was included in this?
You're gonna say Frank, because
yes.
Now I'm vaguely remembering the chat.
Yes, Frank was included in it, an all-time Knicks thing, And
So they have like the dollar players. There's $5 players, and they put Frank in there.
yeah. Well, he didn't. He wasn't a $5 player, but he was.
No, like single dollar player. Like I'm just saying, like you have a list of like what is it, total of 25 players, and Frank's one of the 25 players.
Yeah.
Frank, there's no. How is he a top? Like, is that like insinuating he's like a top 25 Nick of all time, or just? I guess you're not saying that. I assume. What are they saying?
I don't know. Why is he even in there?
I don't think he's a top 25 New York Knicks point guard of all time. Which is, I'm not insulting him. He just hasn't done anything.
Yeah, I really don't understand it.
Hey, Jay, what do you say? Like, if you were to give advice to people, I was thinking that maybe, like, let's just say like a Knick fan comes to you and goes, "Hey, I'm a big Frank supporter, but people on Twitter, they're not nice about him. How do I defend myself?" Like, I want to see you come out the other side. Can you help the people that are like big Frank fans right now?
Okay, I found it.
Okay.
So there's only 23 players.
So read the columns. Let's see. Like, just put this in perspective. Let's see who the $5 players are.
First of all, there's only 3 $5 players, and it's insane because it's Ewing and Clyde, but Melo is there.
Why? Okay, whatever. Okay, why is Melo at the $5? Wouldn't he be like a $4 player?
That's what I would think.
I guess who else is the other $5 player in Knicks history, though?
If you don't have any, you don't put them.
Okay, fine. Our team's so goddamn. Okay, who are the $4 players?
Willis Reed, Earl the Pearl, Bernard King, Porzingis, Stephon Marbury.
Porzingis is a $4 player? Stephon Marbury is a $4. What the hell's wrong with this list?
The Knicks are what's wrong with this list.
This is like a Mount Rushmore from hell.
It gets worse.
Okay, so anyway, also, okay, go on.
$3.
Bernard King and I would have to think King and Melo are equal. Melo was here a little longer, but I as far as their legacy and what they did as a Knick, pretty similar. I assume I would put them on the same level.
Well, get ready. $3.
Oh God.
Derrick Rose.
What the hell?
Sprewell, Houston, Tyson Chandler, Amari.
Is this just like an explanation of how terrible our franchise is?
It's a $2. J.R. Smith, Camby, Crawford, David Lee, and Bill Cartwright.
Okay. Why Cartwright? What?
Cartwright was good on the Knicks.
He was a fine player. It's just a weird list, right?
It's a weird list. I mean, there's no
rhyme or reason for any player besides like Ewing and Clyde.
There's no DeBusschere. There's no Bradley. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
No, it's just it's a weird combination of players where you just randomly pick some players from each like that you just feel like putting on there. There's no like rankings or like. Okay, go on.
$1 is Oakley. Is it Frank? Is Frank number 11?
Yeah.
So Frank, Hardaway Jr., LJ, and Nate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also feel like there's like a weird list. Like Nate Robinson at least did a little more than Frank here. Why are they equal?
I don't know.
He at least won some dunk contests for us. Frank has yet no one who's ever coached Frank on the Knicks has said he should be our starter. Not that the Knicks are a great coaching staff. Anyway, so what would you say to someone who says to you, Jay, I am a big Frank fan. I think he's going to be great. What do I say to those people who disagree with me on Twitter? This is our segment called Advice from Jay.
So I'm giving advice for people who are saying Frank is not going to be great?
No. I'm dear Jay, I'm a huge Frank fan. Mm-hmm. You could call me a Frank stan. Anyway, I think if the Knicks played him 30 minutes a game, we would win the Olympics and the title. And we beat Corona. Anyway, he's going to be really good. I know you need to develop him. He'll get better. And I'm asking you, Jay, people on Twitter, some of them disagree with me. Some of them say mean things about me. How do I defend myself against people that say Frank is trash?
I think you should not defend yourself because
But Jay,
you have a bad opinion.
But Jay, I was writing for opinion how to help myself on Twitter. All I like to do is go on Twitter and debate people, and you're telling me not to?
Yeah, you should probably tone it down a little bit.
Fine, I'm going to go out and get the coronavirus. You suck.
Anyway, my team would be either Ewing, Monroe, Sprewell, Oakley. Then I have $2 left, so I don't know if I should take LJ and Nate or David Lee.
Who's your point guard? Oh, you have Clyde, right?
No,
I don't remember what you said. Who'd you say again?
Ewing,
Slow it down for me. I'm slow.
Ewing,
of course.
Earl to Pearl.
Okay.
Sprewell.
Okay.
Oakley.
Okay.
And then I have one spot left, so it's either David Lee or LJ and Nate.
LJ.
I could take LJ and Nate because they're both $1.
Wait, I thought you were getting 5 players.
You could have as many as you want for $15.
Oh, I thought you were just making a starting 5.
Nope, I'm taking 6.
I'm not following these rules. Well, what? Don't take David Lee. You wouldn't fit him with it. You don't need David Lee if you have Ewing on the court.
I was thinking put Lee at the 3. I don't know.
Oh, Patrick, it'd be really helpful? A tall guy who can't play defense next to you. That'll really help you out a lot.
He can score, though. You got Oakley for defense.
I don't know. I feel like David Lee might occupy some of the same space that Patrick plays.
Yeah, I guess LJ and Nate makes more sense.
I mean, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
At least you can say Nate's your 6th man. LJ, you have guys that can do a little more on the court.
You would not believe how many people took Frank.
Why did they take Frank? Why does anyone... We're spending too much time bashing Frank when he hasn't played in 2 months.
Okay, so let's move on.
Big news in Knicks world.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start it. Leon Rose has remade the team by keeping the same GM, Scott Perry, and hired some people below him.
He hired an assistant GM.
You know what I love is that when you hear these stories, so the assistant GM is Walt Perrin, right?
Yes, he was from Utah Jazz.
Yeah. What I like is that Knicks Twitter has a very strong opinion about someone that they've only known existed for a very short time.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how you could be so sure about a guy not knowing he existed prior to hearing the announcement.
Right.
It's like the Knicks got Bill Basketball. Oh, I hear he's amazing. He's so I can't believe they got Bill Basketball. I don't like that guy.
You have to have a strong opinion about everything. That's just the rule of Twitter.
So Walt Perrin, he was an longtime executive for the Jazz. He has a close relationship with Donovan Mitchell, which is only something to point out because now we'll have all these rumors about Donovan Mitchell coming to the Knicks because the guy we hired knows him.
Cool.
Yeah, but apparently he's not someone that's looking to take the GM job. He's an older gentleman. He's in his 60s. And he's supposed to be kind of a very big-time scout kind of guy. He's into the scouting, and he's helped the Jazz build their team. So I don't know, the Jazz have a much better team than the Knicks, so taking anyone from another team is probably a good idea besides someone in the Knicks organization.
Yeah, I mean, the Jazz are well constructed. I like it.
Yeah, I don't really understand why we still have Scott Perry, but the move sounds good to me. And they hired someone else.
They did.
Who's the other guy?
Frank Zanin, who is a Thunder scout. You may not know this. The Thunder have drafted quite well.
Really? That's weird. They've drafted quite well. Well, are all those players in the same team now? And have they put together an historic team?
For one season.
Where are all the players now? They wouldn't have just drafted all these great players and just let them go.
Well, he's not the GM; he's the scout, so that's the good news.
Okay. I mean, actually, the Thunder have a great team now. They have a pretty darn good team now, also. But
Yeah.
that's more the GM doing than anything else. Uh, that sounds good to me. I mean, whatever. I will take any guy from a more functional organization. So
Exactly.
anyone else from the other 29 teams in the league sounds like a good idea to me.
Agreed.
Why don't we have a coach? Seems like an important position.
Nah, you got to build around the edges first.
When is the season going to be canceled?
I don't know.
Why have they not canceled the season? What's going on?
I think they're trying to explain to the players how they're not going to get millions of dollars, and they're kind of too scared to tell them that. So they're just like, yeah, maybe something.
Are you sure that's how the negotiations are going? Because I'm assuming it's different. You wanna cut to the negotiations?
Sure.
Okay, guys. You guys all go play basketball, and everyone just pray you don't get COVID. Can we do that? No, we don't really want to take any precautions. Fine. We'll get a test or two. Now go play. God, you guys are babies. I am an owner. I'm not gonna leave my house. Okay, go play basketball, dicks.
If you were an owner, wouldn't you just sell like every fifth seat? Couldn't you like mathematically figure out seats that are 6 feet apart?
I'm assuming they can't get the players to agree to play right now.
I guess because of profit sharing, if you only sell 1/5 of the seats or whatever, you only get 1/5 the revenue, and then you get less money.
I think a lot of teams make a lot of money just off of TV, so it's not just the state. Like you can play in empty stadiums and still
Yeah.
like at least I don't know, break even or whatever it is. They probably make money just from the TV rights.
Yeah, I mean they have $1 billion TV deal, so.
Also, you know if they sold every fifth seat, you go to the game and you'd be like, yo, dude, you have to sit 4 seats away from me. No, it's a better seat over here. That's a tall guy sitting in front of me. I'm just gonna move over. Stop being a. Fine, I'm gonna move over. And then the next person next to you is like, hey, dude, you can't move over.
Yeah.
Everyone would be an asshole about it.
Yeah, that's true.
So that would not work. I just think a lot of the players are like, I don't want to be, because all these ideas are basically having the players quarantined. And I'm sure there's a certain amount of players who are just like, I don't need to risk my life to play basketball.
True. I mean, most of them, they should be set for life. I read like half of them aren't, but they should be.
Yeah, you're risking your life. I don't know. I don't think if basketball was going to come back, there'd already be a plan. Like, they've been talking about this for so long. Like, you also have to figure, like, to get everyone, if you want to bring everyone, it's not just the 15 guys on each team. Then you also have the coaching staff. You have all the trainers. There's so many people involved in this.
Yeah, there's hundreds. I mean, it's crazy how many people are involved.
I think they were saying this was for baseball, but if you wanted to like put everyone in one area, like kind of like a bubble of the team, a bubble, you would need to quarantine about 10,000 people to make baseball work. I'm assuming it's similar in basketball, maybe like not quite that many, but like it's almost an impossible situation. And I was listening to something, and one of the baseball players was like, "Hey, my wife's due to give birth. If I'm bubbled, well, I'm going to leave to go see be there when my wife gives birth, and then do I have to be quarantined for 2 weeks when I come back? How the hell is this going to work? Because I don't want to just stay basically in a bubble for like 9 months while the season goes on."
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's complicated.
Well, actually, do you want to know this breaking news?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the Knicks are going to play, and they're going to wear astronaut outfits.
Okay.
Every team's just going to have a costume on. The Nets are all going to wear sumo suits that cover the face. We can make this shit work.
Oh, so last time we did an episode, I was talking about how I was reading Phil's book, 11 Rings.
Yeah.
And so I finished it. In the very last chapter, he talks about how he just got hired by the Knicks and he hopes to bring a winning culture to the team. So, kind of.
God damn it.
So I don't think there'll be a sequel to the book.
I just saw a headline on the New York Post. Big Three cancel season due to coronavirus.
Oh God, the big three.
The Big Three. It would be hilarious if the Big Three was like, fuck it, we're just gonna do it.
nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. Jorge writes, I know how miserable the Knicks have been these past years. Can you guys talk about other Knicks stuff like Ewing in the 90s, King in the 80s, or how bad the Knicks were in the 2000s? I was just randomly thinking about Willis Reed the other day. Dude really won 2 championships and an MVP during Wilt, Kareem, and West Havlicek era.
Yeah. You know, when I was watching Last Dance, I was watching the Jordan game when he came back and he dropped 55 in the Knicks. But I was watching, I think John Starks was guarding Jordan, and I'm like, Starks was like the third best player on the team if you count Oakley as being the second. Ewing really did not have a lot of help on those teams. It's amazing how good those teams are without a lot of help.
It's crazy. I mean, there was almost no other All-Stars the entire run, and they were still that good.
They'd win 50 games every season. That's how good Patrick Ewing was. He would just will them to so many. I mean, like, people gave him so much crap, but they were so good, and the teams kind of sucked around him. Oakley obviously was very good. Starks cannot be your third best player.
No.
And Starks, I was watching Starks, I'm like, the dude is just so small compared to Michael Jordan. This is absurd that he was guarding him.
That's like having J.R. Smith as your third best player. It just doesn't work.
No, not as good of a team, but yes. They're like, okay, number one, we got this big time draft pick, Patrick Ewing. He's great. Number two, we got a big time rebounder in Charles Oakley. Number three, we got some guy from like some crappy other basketball league that's not very good, and like he'll fill in here.
You know what we did? We went to ShopRite, and this guy was really talking a big game about his basketball game. So he's our starting shooting guard now.
Yeah, I mean, and Starks was fine. I mean, nothing against Starks. I like Starks a lot. It's just like he couldn't be they couldn't find anyone else to add to that team.
It's crazy. I mean, freaking Charles Smith should not have been playing like 30 minutes a game.
I mean, eventually you add like good players to the team with Houston and like Sprewell, but then like you catch basically Ewing at the end of his career.
Well, that and you had Sprewell for like what, 1-2 seasons.
Sprewell should have choked his coach way earlier.
I mean, the Sprewell run was really short, and Houston got too injured too quick.
I was supposed to say positive. So positive. Patrick Ewing was a goddamn force.
He was unbelievable.
He was dominant on defense. He could score. He could do everything. I know that he never got to the Knicks. If not for Jordan, the Knicks would have been in the finals more often. The Knicks probably would have won a title.
Yeah, I would think so.
And since there's no way to prove me wrong on this, I'm just going to go with it. But I really think, I mean, like, who else? I was surprised when Jordan just said like the Pacers were the team that like they were his toughest competitor. I'm like, did the Knicks battle them all those years?
Yeah, I mean the Pacers were really good during the last year or two of Jordan's run, but the Knicks were good that whole decade.
You know what I actually found interesting, just on a side note, was the when they covered the when Jordan returned and they got beat by Orlando, and it was just interesting to see like. I remember people just saying Jordan was like out of shape, and that's why like it like why they lost. But it really was interesting to see like how like the difference. Like you can't just get into game shape like a month, like playing for a month or two.
Right. Which means when the NBA does come back, get ready for some ugly games.
Yeah, there's going to be some really ugly games when he comes back. It's just great of all athletes. Like Jordan was talking about how like he got himself more in shape for baseball, and the muscles he was using for baseball really weren't the right muscles. He wasn't having his body almost like changed a little bit. It wasn't right for basketball. He had to like rework his whole body.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that as a thing.
Yeah, I would just assume like it was like he's been working out hard for baseball. He's still in shape. He's able to just jump back into. I always thought I was like, oh, why can't he just get back into it? Why'd they lose so easily to Orlando?
Mm-hmm.
And then you watch and you're like, okay, Orlando's going to they're going to really compete with Orlando going forward than the Orlando team. I guess when did Shaq leave for the Lakers? It wasn't that much longer after that, I guess.
I think it was 99. So,
was it 99? Why wasn't that Orlando team like a better team going forward? Like shouldn't they have been battling the Bulls after that?
Was it 99 or was it earlier? I'm not sure.
It was before. I'm thinking it was 98, but I'm going to look right now. I just like looked at that team. I was like, they have a lot of really good players. Like just between Penny Hardaway, so he went to the Lakers 96, 97.
Oh, okay. So
Okay, a little earlier, I guess.
yeah, so they only had a 4-year run really,
Yeah,
and they made the finals once during that. So
yeah. I mean, and they got swept by Houston, but like you look like you had such a young team with Penny Hardaway and Shaq, and you're like Nick Anderson, who was actually a pretty good player, also. Like you're like, oh my God, we're set in Orlando. We're gonna be battling for for the title for so many years, and then like it just like Shaq leaves, Penny Hardaway gets injured, and it's over.
you never know in basketball; things can change so quick.
Oh look, no, don't worry, we signed Grant Hill. Oh wait, Grant Hill will never play for us. Or I don't know if he played. I forget if he actually probably played a little bit, but he was injured.
Yeah.
Any other good Knicks memories? Oh, so I have a question. So you've watched the documentary. I always thought that that Jordan got suspended, and I know they talked about the suspension. Like, did he get suspended for gambling? They talked about it on there. He's denied it. I always believed in that conspiracy. After watching it, do you still believe in the conspiracy?
I was a little more convinced that it did not happen, but yeah, I always thought that that's what happened as well.
Yeah, I kind of was a little more convinced also because I was just like, when you put it all together with like his dad dying and like his just frustration with everything and like kind of losing the passion, I was like, I can kind of believe that. And then the fact that the fact that he came back to basketball not really in shape for basketball, which doesn't sound like someone was playing and coming back. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. So I kind of was like, oh, maybe he didn't get suspended. I don't know. Another email.
Yes. So thank you, Jorge. We have Axel writes, hello, with the NBA draft hopefully around the corner, I have 2 questions to ask you. With a point guard clearly being our biggest need, what prospects are your favorite? Personally, I like LaMelo and Tyrese Halliburton. A lot of people are high on Killian Hayes, but personally, I'm done drafting another point guard from France that can't shoot to save his life. Frank Stans, come at me.
You know what's annoying? Because I really like watching March Madness, so I can watch all these players. I don't really follow college basketball that closely. I watch them in March Madness, and then they'll see who's the good point guards, and we're not getting that shit.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm like, how come I don't know anybody? Oh yeah, there's like no games.
There's no games to watch, so you don't really know these players. All these players played like, I guess this ended right before March Madness, but like I don't know, like you didn't get that much time to watch these guys, and none of them really stood out that much. Halliburton sounds pretty good to me. I don't like what I've heard about LaMelo. Even though there's also now all these rumors LaMelo is going to make his way to the Knicks as if like he has a choice. It's a draft. I don't really understand how he has a choice.
Right.
But
Well, I mean, I guess you could refuse to work out for a team and pull all that crap.
yeah, there's a whole thing actually about the guy, the what's his name, the new Perrin. Is that his name, Walt Perrin?
Mm-hmm.
How he got Donovan Mitchell to work out for the Jazz, and that helped them as far as them getting him. He's also supposed to be one of those guys that they. The one thing I didn't like a description of him was they said like he's very big into like the private workouts and the like interviews with the players, which I always feel like sometimes it might be my bias because after hearing the Knicks, I think I think basically they sometimes put too much into the private workouts and like what they see as far as like the interviews when you really need to put it like the biggest factor should be what you're seeing him do in actual games when he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the Knicks got wowed by Kevin Knox when they saw him in a private workout, and he wasn't good when he played games. You can't like put too much into like this like one time a private workout.
Yeah,
Just
I agreed.
you have too much bias in things that don't matter as much. So I actually feel like I wonder if like the draft will work out better in some ways because like you're not getting the private workouts now.
That's an interesting take. Yeah, it could be.
I don't know. I think tonight was supposed to be the. I saw somewhere tonight was supposed to be the draft lottery, like the original date.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's not happening tonight, but
Can't have a lottery.
no. Well, they can't have the draft lottery because they don't know what they haven't officially said what's happening with the season.
Oh, right.
Because there's technically maybe a season still happening, which is not really happening. But
Yeah.
so they did the draft is still the same day. It's still it's still late June, June 25th. But the draft lottery is just not happening yet because they haven't announced when the season ends or the playoffs or anything like that.
Yeah. Second part to Axel's question. As I mentioned earlier, a point guard is clearly what we need, but why the hell haven't we picked up Lamar Peters from our own G League from team Westchester Knicks? The man was averaging 17.7 points a game and 7.2 assists per game while shooting 40.4% from three. He also had a game where he hit 10 three-pointers and another with 19 assists. He's also a lefty with amazing dribble moves. Best regards from Sweden.
I heard a scouting report on him, and I think the idea is they just don't think his game will translate. He's 6 foot. He's kind of a smaller player, and they just don't think they think he'll get crushed on defense in the NBA. And while he's hitting a lot of shots and getting some assists, his numbers look good. His numbers look good in the G League, but they really don't think they'll translate into the NBA. That said, the Knicks suck, so why weren't they giving him a shot?
Try it.
Yeah, try anything.
Who cares?
They should have Jay, my co-host of the podcast, play for them because who the fuck knows?
I can hit a three.
Yeah, you're like I could not play offense like Ntilikina.
I mean, I'm not going to be able to cover anybody, but I could hit a three.
Okay, well Ntilikina's better than you, Jay. I'm sorry. No, you're right. Why don't they? What's the guy who's putting up great numbers in the G League? He was hitting a ton of threes. You need a ton of threes. I don't know, but they just don't like the scouting report was that they just don't think he's NBA talent.
Okay. There was a trade rumor going around last week, and
is it what is it?
It was.
Wait, let me guess. It's the Greek Freak, straight up for Kevin Knox, and where the fans are like, can we get them to throw in a draft pick?
It was RJ Barrett for Victor Oladipo.
So why is Indiana doing this?
Because the only reason they do it is if Oladipo's irreparably injured and will never recover.
I mean, if Indiana's willing to do this, the Knicks should not be willing to do this.
Right.
There's no Oladipo is an all-star. RJ Barrett, hopefully one day he'll be an all-star. Who knows? But if it'd be like if Milwaukee called and said we'll give you the Greek Freak for a draft pick and RJ, you would have to assume the Greek Freak is dead.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, Indiana immediately came out and said they want to sign him to a max extension. So the only...
I assume that meant that the rumors only people were like, oh, it must be true then, the rumors.
I mean, the only way it happens then is if Oladipo says he wants to go to New York. And why he would want to play with a team that is worse in every single position is beyond me. I mean, if you want, we can go through the positions and then look at it from Oladipo's standpoint.
But why is this? How do these rumors emerge? Where do they come from? Are they from the same place that says 5G causes the coronavirus?
Probably.
I don't understand where it even comes from. Where is the glimmer? Where's the connection people are making?
Maybe InfoWars has a sports division.
That would make some sense to me. Are people just let's see, Victor Oladipo, things weren't working out that well when he came back from his injury. That means he probably doesn't want to play for the Pacers. Maybe he would leave, and there's the only other franchise that exists is the Knicks. Okay, it's almost a done deal.
I mean, the Knicks are literally worse at every single position. The whole thing makes no sense. There's
nothing I don't understand how these trade rumors come out. So what is the connection? Why do people say that was a rumor?
I don't know. My friends were texting me like, "Did you hear? Did you hear?" And I was like, "This is insane."
It's Damian Lillard. He unfollowed the Trailblazers trainer on Instagram Clearly, he'll be a Knick tomorrow. And then people just form these trades, and they're just like, I don't know. I mean, like, can we give up both Kevin Knox and Damian Dotson? That's a lot to give up.
They might have to throw in a draft pick.
Okay, well, I'm thinking Lillard, but if Lillard comes here, Ntilikina is still the starting point guard. Lillard has got to earn his stripes here. I don't even understand where this stuff, like, it's just like, I think the greatest agony is just the Knicks fan, the undying belief that every player wants to come here, and every trade that makes no sense is a thing that will happen.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot just accept our team is trash and like, hey, there's some promising pieces and we need to get better. No other organization just assumes like the top 10 players in the league are all like trying to get out of their contracts to become a Knick.
Yeah, the Knicks mystique probably wore off by like 2002.
The Knicks mystique wore off in 1974. Like, I don't understand. I mean, you could at least argue when the basketball wasn't quite as rich and global of a sport. Like, maybe like playing in New York sounded better than playing Oklahoma, but now it doesn't seem to really matter.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand anything, but it's not happening. So I guess we can move on.
I guarantee. I also guarantee there will be Greek Freak rumors going to the Knicks. Anthony Davis may opt out from his Laker contract, or may not re-up, or I guess he's going to be a free agent. So there'll be those rumors again. Every player. Why does every player have to be connected to the Knicks?
I don't know, to give us some hope.
You don't hear like the Atlanta Hawks fans being like, "Well, I'm pretty sure the Greek Freak will sign here after he's done winning titles in Milwaukee." No other franchise is this insane.
Desperate. It's desperation.
Is this part of the reason that we can't build a team here? Is this like is it the fans are just get suckered into this all the time, and so the ownership is like, this is what we got to do?
I don't think they're that influenced by that. I think they're just everything's wrong.
I mean, they say like you can't rebuild in New York. Is part of it the fans are just like making it impossible by like buying into every like we're gonna rebuild. It's been so long. I mean, I can't rebuild. Dude, we barely started. Well, I can't take it anymore. Let's just sign some big names.
I mean, if you are that influenced by people complaining on Twitter, then you shouldn't be in that position.
I don't know. Every time like one person in the stadium breathes, maybe we should get rid of Dolan. Our owner's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that does happen.
I've been cursing a lot in the show today.
Explicit tag. You want to do Facebook questions?
Yeah, I do, Jay. Julian writes, which free agents should we go for? I do not have the list of free agents queued up, but I will have them right now. And it's not a great class.
It's not. I don't even know if we should target too many.
Well, I think I said before, Van Fleet.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the guy I'd like to target. Anyone else that you want to target? I mean, a lot of the other guys there's a lot of older players. I mean, you're not going to, looking at the players that are free agents, there's Gordon Hayward, there's Paul Millsap. Anthony Davis, you could say we should target him. He's not coming here. There's Serge Ibaka, Gallinari. It's really like an off year for free agents. There's Tim Hardaway Jr. Let's see if we can get him for an even worse contract.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's difficult because there's not a lot of good free agents, and the Knicks aren't really ready to go that route anyway.
Well, that's why you would take a player that maybe will help. Like a guy like Van Fleet, he's still young enough. He's talented enough. I mean, there's question. He's not a complete player, but he's still he seems at least promising. I'd go all in for a Van Fleet.
What do you think? He's young enough anyway.
He's 26 years old. He's really good on a really good team and getting better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe his defense is not ideal, but you're not getting like a first team all NBA player by free agency.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, would you go after an Andre Drummond? Just sign him in free agency and pair him next to Mitchell Robinson? Would you pay him $25 million a year?
I don't know. That's a little steep. I mean, I like Drummond. I just don't know if I like him at that much.
I mean, I don't think there are a lot of players you're going to like that much. De'Aaron Fox is a free agent. You can go. I mean, Sacramento will match anything you. He's restricted, so they'll. Oh, I think it's club option, so he's not even a free agent. But you can go after Bertans, overpay him a little bit. You got a really good 3-point shooter.
Mm.
There's Bogdanovich, the one from Sacramento. Overpay him a little bit. He's a solid player. Joe Harris, get another good sign a bunch of 3-point shooters. I know there's some rumors, some people saying like the Knicks should go after Christian Wood. I don't know why Detroit's going to let him go.
None of these are getting me super excited.
Why would they? What do you think's going to happen? You're not going to sign anyone who's going to get you super excited.
Yeah. True.
I mean, Malik Beasley, I don't know. He looked pretty good in Denver. He's youngish. He's 23 years old. He might be like a guy that's worth overpaying a little bit for.
Oh God.
Why? That's what you have to do. You have to find some guy who's going to bust out a little bit.
All right, now I'm depressed. Let's move on.
Well, I guess I would say if you're going to sign players, sign shooting. Get some more 3-point shooters. Get a point guard if you can, and I don't know. Anyone else you want?
No, there really isn't.
Do you want our current free agents, the guys on the team?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
There's also Brandon Ingram, but he's a restricted free agent. So I think you go basically, Brandon, here's your max offer. That's it. Just give him a max. Just mail him a max offer right now. Mail him every day. Mail him a max offer.
Like same numbers yesterday.
Just like it doesn't matter. New Orleans is going to match the max offer, but just in case, like the guy who's in charge, like the GM gets the COVID and can't match the offer for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I mean, they're obviously going to match, but yeah, why not try it?
Yeah, so let's pretend the Knicks are going to get Brandon Ingram and they're going to get Van Fleet. Team looks pretty good next year with those guys.
I like it. Frank still starts though, right?
What do you say?
Frank still starts though, right?
Frank plays all 5 positions.
Okay.
48 minutes a game. No one else is allowed to see the court.
Okay, good.
Okay. Bear writes, is Miller getting the short end of the stick here? When was the last time we had a coach who was drama-free, ran a competent system, and played players in roles that made sense for them? I'm not saying he's a long-term answer, but aren't we better off with him while we're still far away than we are with a big-name coach like Tibbs who could potentially damage their franchise for years like he did with the Wolves?
I mean, maybe they should just keep him around. Why not?
I like Kenny Atkinson. I am all in on him. Tibbs, I am not all in on. I do think he got kind of screwed in Minnesota. That situation seemed better than it was. Clearly Minnesota did not work out as well as it should have for him there. But I like his days in the Bulls. He obviously was also an assistant coach for the Knicks for a long time. I don't mind Tibbs. I don't know why all the hate for Tibbs.
I don't know. It seemed like it was almost like a Phil thing where the game seemed to just pass him by.
I guess. I mean, he's a defensive first coach, but again, at the same time, Minnesota wasn't a very good defensive team. Though I don't know what coach was going to make Wiggins play defense. Yeah, I mean, what Bear is saying here, just basic things like drama-free, ran a competent system, played players in roles that made sense. You think every one of your coaches would do those kind of things, but it doesn't happen very often with the Knicks.
No, it doesn't. He hasn't tried to sleep with any of the Knicks ex-wives.
I'm fine if the Knicks keep him, but I'd like Kenny Atkinson. But I would understand if they keep Mike Miller. I think who more deserves to be in their role next season, Mike Miller or Scott Perry?
Miller.
Yeah, I'd agree. There's nothing I've seen. I don't understand what Scott Perry did to keep his job.
I don't either.
I look at the team like they've been building the last 2 years. Nothing that Perry did. I don't say like, well, all the bad moves were like were Mills. Like Perry was in on all this stuff. He was part of the terrible KP trade. Like Brandon writes, to Van Fleet or not to Van Fleet? That is the question.
To Van Fleet.
You are all in. So what kind of contract would you give Van Fleet?
I don't know if that's a tough one.
Let's just say he says 4 years, $100 million. You do it?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, what else are you spending your money on?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like, there's nothing. No one's coming here. The money's like, what are you giving Knox a couple extra bucks? Who gives it? Like, just pay a guy to be here.
Yeah.
You have to overpay also. I don't care what he's worth. You got to overpay guys to come here when your team's bad. You're asking Van Fleet, hey, you want to leave one of the best teams in the league in Toronto? You got to give them a lot of money. I mean, they're pretty darn good even without. Without Kawhi, they're still a pretty good team.
Yeah.
Bill writes, best coaching candidates: Tibbs, Van Gundy, Atkinson, Jay Wright, etc. Why don't you put them in order, Jay? Tibbs, Van Gundy, Atkinson, Jay Wright. What? Put them in order for yourself.
I'm drawing a blank. Right? Who
No, it was Tibbs, Van Gundy, Kenny Atkinson, and Jay Wright.
No, but who is Jay Wright coaching?
Oh, he's the coach of whatchamacallit. He is the coach of Villanova.
I don't really know anything about him.
Okay. Okay, just forget him, okay?
Atkinson, Gundy, Tibbs.
Yeah. Oh, is that your order?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a great bit. Alejandro writes, who are you hoping to get in the draft? Both first-round picks. I know Melo isn't going to be there by the time we pick, so I'm hoping for Killian. I guess he means LaMelo. For a second, I was like, what? I'm hoping for Killian, Cole, or Okoro with our first, and Tyrell or Ramsey with our second rounder. I don't know the second rounders well enough. First rounder, Halliburton, Killian. I don't know enough about these players. What about you, Jay?
I mean, sorry, I don't either.
I really was hoping to watch these guys in the March Madness, and I guess the draft will be the end of June. I guess we'll start looking into the players more. I want a guy who plays point guard. That really what it comes down to. Someone who has skill set that we can build on. It's impossible to know who. It's impossible for any of us to figure out who the right guy is.
Yeah.
Cole Anthony's supposed to be good. All these guys are supposed to be good. Scott writes, you guys stay safe and healthy. How's the families? Best of luck. Nick's question. Well, Jay, you guys safe and healthy? How's the families? How you doing, Jay?
So far, so good. Yeah. I mean, girlfriend works at a hospital. She got the antibody test. She doesn't have it, so.
Oh, you didn't. I remember last show you were last time we did Brink. You said she had the test. You didn't tell me she didn't have it.
Yeah. She just found out.
Oh, okay. Was she happy she did? Like, would she prefer that she had it already?
We were both kind of like, yeah, it probably would have been better if you had it, and we're fine now.
Yeah. Because, yeah, I feel like now you take the test, like you kind of, I mean, if you take the test, you kind of want to just have had it already since you didn't have symptoms anyway.
Yeah.
Scott continues, next question. Are you guys upset like me that the season is canceled and we can't make dumb trades and try for an 8th seed playoff berth?
I mean, I still think the draft pick is the way to go.
Yeah. Well, I don't think this season. I like to watch some basketball right now. I would like to see the Knicks play. The Knicks season was getting really painful, I have to say, before it ended.
It was.
I want a new Knicks season. That's really what I want. I want it to be like October, November already. Just beyond the fact that we'd probably be hopefully through COVID or getting closer to it at least, getting done with it. But or who the hell knows? But I want a new season to root for. Give me a couple of different players. Give me a draft pick. Give me some draft picks. Give me some hope. That's right. I'm sick of the last season, but I want a new season.
So we can do our 2 episodes of positivity before we get bitter and jaded again.
Yeah, I need something. I need some hope again because I'm really out of hope. I wouldn't mind watching some playoffs now, obviously, but as far as the Knicks season, I don't need the regular season to go again and like see it anymore. I've seen enough of this Knicks team. I don't know if I'm gonna like. I don't know if the Knicks play out 5 more games, like 10 more games. We're gonna see it enough to like. It was a really disappointing season in every way.
Yeah.
I mean, everything from like I had such hope for RJ, and he could be a very good player, but like he just did like every player we draft can't shoot the goddamn basketball, and like these guys look good at first, and then the more you watch them, you're like, oh, I guess.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
I would have like I know we're ripping on Frank a little bit this episode. I would have really hoped to see some growth from Frank. I would really hope that we're not at this point where everyone's like still like as divided as possible on Frank, and there's no like answers because we haven't seen enough from him. The whole season was just like a goddamn. I would have hoped to seen some growth from Knox and not to be like done with Knox already.
That would have been cool.
I like Mitchell Robinson a lot. I still like. We didn't see a tremendous amount of growth from Mitchell Robinson. He looked better, but
Yeah, nobody took a leap, and that was definitely the most disappointing part of the season.
And Julius Randle, like we kind of knew the signing didn't make sense, and we were like, okay, it did make sense, and now he's still on the team. And all the guys they signed there for 1-year deals, you're like, Elfrid Payton, I don't know, he's not very good, but he'll only be here for 1 year. He can't make me that angry. No one seemed like you didn't. There's no one they got in it. There's no one on the team where you're like, oh, he was a bright spot. What was the bright spot from this season? A vaguely disappointing RJ, a Mitchell Robinson, not at least not getting worse.
I don't really have an answer to that question.
Alonzo Trier disappearing from the face of the earth.
There's really not a lot.
I mean, the bright spot for the season was working out a trade with the Clippers. That was really it. One more Facebook question.
Okay.
Julian writes, thoughts on Frank Zonin, Brock Aller, and Walt Perrin?
We did that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know what my overall thoughts in? You brought in guys from other organizations that are competent organizations. Sure, you need to change blood here, so need fresh blood.
Yeah, I mean, all those are much better run organizations, and they have a track record of doing their job competently. So
yeah,
I'm in on that.
I don't know what to think about Leon Rose, and I don't know what to think about the fact that they kept the GM, and at least Mills is gone, and what's going on, Jay?
All right, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, Jay, what's your prediction? What I'm asking a couple predictions before we have the show.
Okay.
Will the NBA season resume?
No.
Okay. Will there be playoffs?
I don't think so, and that's going to be really weird.
Yeah. Baseball had that a strike shortened season where they just cut out the season. It was just going to give up on this season.
Yeah, I think they just start in October.
And when do you predict they give up?
Who?
The NBA. Like when do you think the announcement will come? Like at what point? Around when do you think like they'll just say like not happening?
Probably next month, because they got to start doing something as far as the draft goes.
I think the draft is scheduled for June 25th. I would have to say by mid-June they're going to cancel everything.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Because you're going to have some kind of playoffs. That's going to take a few months. And obviously you could do that, but then it kind of cuts into the following season. And, like, I don't see it happening. I mean, is everyone going to wear a mask while playing? At least the Knicks, you know what the good thing about the Knicks would be? Is the Knicks' typical defense is social distancing. At least at the 3-point line. Hey, why did you cover the 3-point shot? I was trying to avoid getting COVID, Dick. And will this be? Was this LeBron's last shot at the finals? Will he ever make it to the finals from here?
That could be. I mean, that might be. I mean, who is more mad right now? Giannis or LeBron?
Who's more mad now? LeBron or Kobe's wife?
That's not cool.
Was that really off? Was that really a bad joke?
Yeah, that was. Delete that. Who edits the show?
You don't think LeBron's that angry? Okay. I apologize. That was a bad joke. Do you want to edit that out, Jay?
I'm too lazy. Just pretend you didn't hear that, everybody.
I just wanted to make a bad joke. I mean, you have to think. To answer your question, Jay, it has to be LeBron. LeBron has this is his last. Maybe he has one more year in him. Giannis has plenty of time.
Sure, but you know how quickly these things can.
Right, but if you're just thinking about how upset, Giannis is probably hey, I'm going to be playing. I have 5 more years or 6 more years at peak performance. I'll just win another title. It's not the biggest of deals. LeBron probably is pissed off about this.
Yeah,
because he's probably my best chance was really with Anthony Davis, especially if Davis leaves.
Yeah, I don't know why he would, but yeah.
Well, I mean, he just maybe he didn't like playing. I don't know. I mean, he's gonna be. Why did he sign the max already?
Drama.
Why did he leave himself this flexibility? Maybe I don't know. It seems like a good situation to stay with the Lakers, but and maybe he was just like I want to see what happens with the Lakers. And if we're good, I'll stay. If we're not, I'll leave, which is a fair thing to have done.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to think LeBron's going to be one more year older at some point. He's not going to be quite as good.
You got to think the guy would age at some point.
I mean, it really he looked pretty darn good this season.
It's. I don't want to make any more speculations about how he's doing this, but yeah.
Okay, Jay. Why don't you just I made an off-color joke. You're just calling him a cheater. That's great, Jay. You should apologize to the fans now, Jay.
No.
Do you want to apologize to Lance Thomas?
Never.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. nyknickspodcast@gmail.com, and we're NYKnicks Podcast everywhere else. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Patreon. So thanks for listening, and hopefully there'll be some actual basketball news soon, and we can do a real show. But we're doing what we can with what's going on here.
Okay. Well, we'll tune in for Brink. We're gonna do a lot of our Brink show, and until we have more basketball to talk about. We'll be back at some point, though.
Yeah, we have a comedy podcast called The Brink of Sanity, brinkofsanityshow.com, where you could just go to iTunes and look up Brink. And
yes.
we've been doing that every single week, so check that out.
Yeah. So yeah, if you like it, great. If you don't like it, keep listening anyway.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. That is it for now. Goodbye, everybody.
Happy trails to
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired.